Even though I think it's great to live in China and I generally enjoy living, working and being here, there are still things that even after 10 years puzzle me. Many of these things I've seen a lot of times, but they still surprise me. And I often wonder, is it me that is surprised because I'm a foreigner, or are Chinese people also surprised by these things? In this episode, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that still puzzle me and sometimes frustrate me. So let's get started with number 10, fresh air. If you have worked in a Chinese office or spent a lot of time with Chinese people, you will know what I am talking about. Chinese people are obsessed with fresh air, but what puzzles me is how and when they want to get it. If you work in an office, you will find your Chinese colleagues opening windows when it is -3 degrees Celsius. If you try to close the window and say it is too cold to have it open, they will say something about fresh air. They will also have the heater on full blast. On top of the heater blowing and the minus temperatures, the air is often polluted outside. This is not just a thing that happens in winter. The window also needs to be open during summer when it is 30+ degrees. After 10 years, this is something I still don't really understand. On number 9, we find another winter puzzle. I don't quite understand why so many people wear their winter jackets inside. I mean, I guess I get it if the window is open, but why not close the window and take off your jacket? I could understand this when I was living in Shaoxing. It is considered the south of China, so houses, schools and other buildings don't have central heating. It didn't get extremely cold there, but it does snow and houses don't have great insulation, which can make it chilly in your house or classroom. But it puzzled me more when I lived in Shenyang, and it still does now I am in Beijing. There is central heating as winters are cold, especially in Shenyang, so I don't quite understand why people want to keep their jackets on inside. Also, in my perspective, it defeats the purpose when you go outside again. Your jacket won't really keep you warm outside if you've been wearing it inside the entire time. By the way, my name is Yvonne. Welcome to my channel and this video. This video, in which I talk about 10 things that still puzzle me here in China, is the 8th episode in the series 10 Years in China that I am making to celebrate the fact that I have been living in China for 10 years. If you are considering moving to China, or if you want to know more about the country, this series is for you. All of the links to the videos that I already made can be found in the description box below, so make sure to check those out. But before you click on those links, finish watching this video. As we are headed into winter, we're going to keep going with a winter theme for a little bit. On number 8, we find underpants and undershirts. If you are Chinese, or if you have been here for a while as a foreigner, you probably know what I'm talking about. As soon as winter starts, according to the Chinese calendar, people of all ages will start wearing undergarments. I think this type of clothing has its own season, and clothing stores always allocate a fairly large area of their shop for this special type of winter gear. To me, it seems quite funny, as I am not familiar with the idea of underclothing as part of your outfit. In the Netherlands, we would only wear this if it gets really cold, or when you go ice skating on the canals and lakes on a cold winter day, which doesn't happen too often these days. Here, adults and children will wear this type of clothing in winter, even when it doesn't get extremely cold. I've seen so many people being very hot because they wear underpants and normal pants in a room where they can't control the heating. I guess what puzzles me most about this is how Chinese people will follow the season more than the temperature. On number 7, we find one of my favorite topics to talk about, food. Although very few things puzzle me when it comes to food, there's one thing that I've yet to understand, and that's the order that food comes out when eating at a restaurant. This mostly happens at restaurants that are more Western focused and serve meals that are personal rather than communal. In restaurants that serve Chinese meals and where people share the dishes, it doesn't really matter which dish comes out first, but when I am eating at a restaurant where there's mostly Western food on the menu, it's a little odd when dessert comes out before the starter has arrived. Not too long ago, I was at a Western restaurant with friends where something similar happened. My friends had ordered burgers and fries and I ordered a salad. My salad was listed on the menu as a starter but came out last. My friends had already finished their main course, the burger, but I had yet to get my salad. For me, this is odd, as in the Netherlands, restaurants will serve starters first, then main courses all at the same time, and finally desserts at the end. That way, you aren't drooling over your friend's meal while waiting for your meal to come out. Something else that I find hard to understand, but that I have accepted, is Chinese work holiday schedules. So on number 6, we find making up for the holiday. China celebrates many holidays. There is the Mid-Autumn Festival, Qingmingjie or Tomb Sweeping Day, and of course Chinese New Year, to name a few. Often, these holidays will fall on a weekday. Let's take the Dragon Boat Festival for this example, and let's say it falls on a Thursday. In my country, we would get the Thursday off, work on Friday, and have a 2-day weekend. In China, it's a little different. Here, you get Thursday, Friday, and Saturday off. But most people will have to work on the Sunday before the week of the holiday, and sometimes on the Sunday after the holiday. The idea behind this is that people will get a longer holiday and have a couple of consecutive days off. The reality is that you're not really getting a day off, because you end up losing days on your weekend that you would normally have off. I kind of understand it, but it still puzzles me more than I do understand it. If it is a holiday, just give us a time off. If you are still watching, you probably find this video interesting and you might even like it. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That really helps the video. Also, I have noticed that many of the people who watch my videos haven't subscribed yet. So if you are one of those people who watches my video on a regular basis and you haven't subscribed yet, please do that, because that will help you see all my videos and not miss any of them. And it will help my channel, because my channel will continue to grow. Okay, enough about liking and subscribing and those things. Let's continue with the list. On number 5, we find something that I could make a separate video about, as there are multiple aspects of it that puzzle me. I'm talking about traffic. Traffic in Beijing is pretty hectic and not always safe. I've arrived home bruised and bleeding more than once. My bike has also suffered from the crazy traffic. Although I've been riding my bike in Beijing for about 8 years, it still surprises me when I get cut off, almost get hit by someone who's going against traffic, or when I need to swerve around people walking on the bike lane while there is a perfectly good sidewalk to walk on. Or when I need to zigzag around cars that are blocking the crossing when I have a green light. I don't understand why cars start crossing the street when it is clear they can't make it to the other side before the light changes and they know they will block the road for all other traffic. What also puzzles me are people that don't wear seatbelts. I often have conversations about this with my Didi drivers. I'm really trying to understand this, but I am still not able to fully comprehend why people don't wear a seatbelt in cars. I'm even more confused when I see that babies and toddlers don't get their own seats, but are often held in their arms of their parents or grandparents. I honestly don't get it. What if something happens to your child and they get seriously injured or worse when you're involved in a car accident? You would never be able to forgive yourself. Let's talk about something else that puzzles and honestly sometimes annoys me. On number 4, we find the internet. As you all know, China actively blocks many websites and social media platforms. I know why it is happening, but it is so frustrating to always have to turn my VPN on if I want to post a photo on Instagram, pin a recipe on Pinterest, or read the news. I feel like I'm always turning the wall jumper on and off, especially when switching between foreign and local sites. What puzzles me about it is why it is still happening in 2020. Now more and more Chinese are proud of their country and actively defend China on social media. If they unblocked some of the sites, I think Chinese people could help reshape the country's image overseas. Anyways, I'm just happy most of the time the VPN works fine. By the way, I've been using ExpressVPN for a couple of years now, and it works quite well. If you are thinking of coming to China and are looking for a VPN, check out ExpressVPN. There's a link in the description box below that will give you 3 months for free. We have entered the top 3 in the list of 10 things that still puzzle me after living in China for 10 years. If you are a foreigner living in China and there are things that puzzle you, please share with me in the comments what puzzles you. And even better, if you understand these things and know why I might be puzzled and you can explain them to me, please do so in the comments, because I would love to not be puzzled anymore. On number 3 on this list of things that puzzle me, we find littering. It's something I am amazed by almost every day, and still, after 10 years, I haven't been able to understand why it is happening. I was brought up with the idea that you should throw trash in a trash bin, and if you can't find one, you keep your trash with you until you come across one and you can get rid of it. My parents were pretty strict about that, and it's become one of the things I live by. It might have to do with generations and different values, but I am surprised by how many people just throw their trash anywhere and not in a trash can. There are many people working on the streets who try to keep the streets clean, and maybe the presence of these people makes it easier for others to just throw trash on the ground. But to me, it seems such an easy and simple thing to throw trash in the bin or take it home with you. I've been trying to understand for a long time why this happens, but I'm still not sure I really understand. Nowadays, there has been a big push to stop pollution in China, and so it shouldn't be hard to understand how littering is hurting the environment. But I still see it often. Luckily, China is a very clean country, and street sweepers do pick it up. I just wish more people would dispose of it properly the first time. On number 2, we find lines, or no lines. Not lining up is something that puzzles me and used to annoy me when I had to take the subway every day. Luckily, I can ride my bike to work now, so I don't get annoyed with it anymore. But I am still puzzled. Many people in China don't seem to know how to line up or don't care to line up. It's hard to understand because it makes getting onto the subway or on a bus just so much harder. To begin with, people won't wait for others to get off the train, but start pushing their way in as soon as the doors open. This makes it hard to get off, but also difficult to get on. Just wait for people to get off the train and then in an orderly manner in a line get on the subway. Getting off and on will actually go easier and faster if everyone waits for their turn and lines up. Skipping the line is also something that is common here and happens a lot. I've experienced it a lot at tourist sites, but also waiting for public transport and in theme parks. I really don't get it when people try and skip the line. Usually I won't let people pass me when I'm in line. We all have to wait our turn. We're coming to the end of the video, and I only have one thing left to share with you that puzzles me here in China. Let me know if you can relate to any of these things that I mentioned in the video, and make sure to like and subscribe. On number 1, we find personal hygiene or the lack of hygiene in some cases. 2 main things I don't get are spitting and peeing everywhere and anywhere. Chinese people tend to spit, especially older people, but this is very disturbing and puzzling to me. I have been in China for a while, and I haven't picked up the habit of spitting, so the excuse of bad weather or pollution doesn't hold up. On top of that, most young people don't spit, so it puzzles me how this habit developed and why it continues. The other thing is relieving yourself anywhere and sometimes next to a restroom. I have seen people relieving themselves 10 meters away from a public restroom. I can understand if you are in the middle of nowhere and there aren't restrooms for kilometers around, but when you could take 10 more steps and be inside of a restroom, it really puzzles me. Also, people will let their children go anywhere. They even have special pants for this. Okay, mini rant over, but these were some of the things that still puzzle me after living in China for 10 years. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the things that shocked me when I first came to China, but that don't shock me anymore. If you don't want to miss that video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye!